I have a lot of people ask me how do I create my mini canvas creations, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate how I put these together. Here are the paints that I use along with a few brushes and some other tools, as well as a 3 by 3 inch stretch canvas. Here I'm going to be mixing up a sky color. We're going to be doing a winter scene, just using Prussian Blue, a little bit of a brown color that I have, which is burnt umber, and a little of the Payne's gray. Just make a kind of a greenish gray color. I like these for winter scenes. Add a little titanium white to it, and I'll mix up a variety of these colors. And I'm going to be using a small brush. This particular brush is a soft bristle, number 4 flat brush, and just using this to put in some of the colors here, and kind of willy-nilly, random, nothing real big here, just wanting to get color onto the canvas. And I'll touch up with a little bit of different colors here, darken it up to get a little variety, make it kind of look like it's a snowy sky, like it's getting ready to snow again, and cold winter sky. I love these paintings for cold. This particular one is fairly simple. There's no treatment on the canvas. I'm just painting straight with these Winsor Newton Winton oil color paints. Do have a Georgian color. It's burnt umber, but mostly the Winton I like. Inexpensive, but very good quality. Really good product. I like these a lot better than the cheaper varieties you might find at your local art supply store like Walmart or Hobby Lobby. These are decent quality and reasonably priced as well. I'm also going to put in a little bit of a foreground, a little bit of shadows in the snow. That foreground there at the bottom of the canvas will be snow, and now I'm adding just straight titanium white. I'm using a round bristle brush, blending things in and just kind of randomly putting things here and there to add a little variety. Now I'm going to take this real soft bristle brush that I have, or um, synthetic brush. It's a real cheapie. It's a good one to use for this kind of thing. It's been holding up for years. I've used it for a long time, and just go through and just very, very light touch, and using a circular motion. I just want to blend the sky out and take out the brush strokes and just kind of create a cloudy sky. I'm going to now take some tree color using some Sap Green along with the Prussian Blue, a little bit of red. Grab that Sap Green. Really want to green that up. Get a real dark bluey green for evergreens, pine trees. And I'll be using this to create pine trees in this painting. And this particular brush is an angular brush that I have that comes with this little inexpensive set I bought at Hobby Lobby. This is a 1/4 inch angular brush, and I'm going to use just the tip of it. And as I do this, I'm going to go through and mark the top of my pine tree. And as I mark the top of the pine tree, I just go down in sort of a diagonal pattern, kind of back and forth, kind of hit and miss, and create just a look of just some generic evergreen trees. From time to time I'll be speeding up the video just to save time, but mainly just working slowly. And you'll find that for the most part, whatever technique you use for this, I'm going to demonstrate several here. This particular brush, if you're doing this for the first time, I suggest practicing a little bit. It's a little bit of a touch to getting used to it. Some people like to use a fan. I use a variety of different brushes. Here I'm using a round brush that I have. It's a fairly new brush, but it's not holding up real well. It's beginning to fade out on me and start to splay a little bit. But this one in particular is a 10-aught, and you can do that. I also have a really fine tip brush that I bought a couple months ago from a company called the Artisan Shop. This one's a rigger. It's a 4-aught rigger, and you can use that as well. But what about bigger brushes? Here is a filbert. I'm going to go into that dark tree color. I'm going to brush off a lot of this on a napkin, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some distant trees off here on the left. I'm just going to gently tap the canvas, and less is more. You can always make it darker. It's a little harder to take it off. It's not impossible, but it's a lot easier. Kind of want it to look farther away, and it looks like a distant hill off in the distance. And I'm going to take that little round bristle brush I have. It's just a little stencil brush. Turn it on its side, and I'll just put some little distant pine tree tops. And these just create a little bit of variety. Looks like very, very distant tree-covered hills, and not real important to have a lot of detail. I'll speed it up here just to save time, but just working back and forth till it looks appealing to me. Pretty simple at this point, not a whole lot to it. But now I'm going to do something that's a little different. I've got a little penknife here. It looks like a little Swiss Army knife, but it's just a little cheap knockoff penknife that I have. And I'm going to load the edge of it in that tree color. And you can actually paint evergreens with this as well. I usually do it to start the tip. And I'll come back and scrape it a little bit. And then using it at an angle, I will turn it, and I will just kind of let the canvas take what it wants and leave what it doesn't. And just work back and forth, repeatedly reloading. And you can do this however many times you want and just do little tree shapes. I just want to show you a variety of ways to do it. It's not difficult. You don't have to have the teeniest tiny brushes. It's, you know, there's a lot of things you can use to create these effects. And that's what I'm doing here with this knife. I kind of like this one. This is a kind of a unorthodox way of doing it. But, you know, people have been doing paintings with painting knives for years, so it's really not that unorthodox at all. But using a penknife might be a little different. I'm cheap, so I like to use whatever I have on hand for this kind of stuff. And with oils, it's very forgiving. You mess up, you can always go back and paint over, scrape it off, paint over. I'm going to take that same knife and just cut a few little tree chunks in. And this knife is fairly dull. It's not very sharp, so I don't no risk of cutting the canvas at all. Now, I'm going to take that angular brush I have. I'm going to add some white to it. And this is just straight titanium white. I've got maybe a little paint thinner, but not a lot. And I'm going to start putting in some of the middle ground, the snow. And when I do this, I'm going to grab a little bit at the base of the pine trees. And I'll grab some of that pine tree color and pull it out, create shadows under the trees. This can go south on you pretty quick if you get a heavy hand or that, so less is more. And then I'll work this in, and I've thinned it a little bit more to kind of smooth things out. So what I'm going to do here in a minute is I'm going to let this sit, for about a half hour or so, and let that paint thinner evaporate. Now I'm going to go back to that rigger brush that I have, that real fine one that I have. It's a 4-aught rigger. I really like this brush. It keeps a really nice sharp point. But I'm going to put in a more to the foreground, really middle ground, but more to the foreground, a larger pine tree. And this will push those distant trees on the left farther back into the scene. And again, just working back and forth. I could have used my knife. I could use some of the other brushes as well. But I just decided to use this little rigger brush here for this step here. And again, doing the same thing, a couple of things going on down here at the base of the tree. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that little round brush that I have, even putting paint thinner on it, the bristles. It's a cheap brush, so it's splaying pretty bad. But once you load it with paint, it's not too bad. But doing the same thing, grabbing a little bit of that tree color at the base of the tree, pulling that to create some shadows. And now, with this brighter titanium white, I can create some snowdrifts and different things. And then I can add some dark, and this will create shadows in the snow where you have the undulations of the snow. And real basic, just putting the snow on there, and that underpainting that I have of the kind of darker gray helps to create the illusion of distance and with the shadows and all. And again, just adding that here to the painting, doing the same thing here as well. And just putting some more fresh, bright white snow, and it just creates that little variation in the ground. Now it's time to take that rigger brush, and I'm just going to thin it with a little bit of paint thinner. And I'm going to go real light and just add a few little touches of snow to the branches. You can go lighter as heavy as you want. This particular painting, I wanted it to be a lot lighter. I find sometimes if you get it too heavy, it looks a little gimmicky. So that's where just light, it gives a suggestion, so the eye fills it in that there's snow in these branches of these distant pine trees and evergreens. And as you can see, we've got a almost completed painting, but I'm mixing up a brown here, Payne's gray and that burnt umber, and I'm going to use that rigger brush and put in just some fence post. I like putting in fence posts, maybe little barns or cabins. Pretty simple to do. Fence posts helps to lead the eye into the center of the painting. And I just put a few little posts here and there, and then I'll go back in with a little bit of white, and I will add that to the brown and put a little bit of highlight on the right side of the post. And then I'm going to go back to my penknife, and I'm going to take the penknife and I'm going to use it to just lightly cut wire. So, wire fence, barbed wire fence going in there, real simple. And then I'll go back and retouch the post with that little 10-aught rigger, or the 4-aught rigger, and just go back in and put those in. And then I'll also put some highlights on the right side as well. Gives it a little variation so they're not just a solid brown post. Whatever looks pleasing to the eye. Now, take a little bit of thin white and put a few little snow caps on the post. Then touch up the bottom of the post with some snow and where it's drifting along the fence line and getting close to having a finished painting. Alright, this time I'm going to put some footprints or snow prints, maybe an animal or somebody walking through here. So I'm going to paint a little bit of snow here through this, so we got kind of a little place to show where somebody had walked through, maybe a little animal. I'm going to use that rigger again, but you know what? I'm going to use this little nail file. I have this on my penknife. This is another dual blade on here. It's got a real dull point, and I'm going to use this. I don't use it for my nails. I use it for painting, and I'm just going to take. I've got a couple different shades of a bluey gray color, the shadow color of the snow color, and the initial is a little hard to see, so I went into a little darker since I had that. It's showing up a little better here in the video. And you just do a variety of these where, as you come into the foreground, little footprints, a little animal or walking through here, say a bunny rabbit or squirrel or something coming through this area. And then I'll take that rigger brush and take a little bit of white paint, and I'll clean up any of the spots that look a little large or look a little odd in shape. And as you can see, there's really not much to this. It's pretty simple. With that, here's my completed painting. Very simple, very easy. It's really not that difficult to do these.